So this is the kiln I use. It's got a heat source down in here. Oh, it's got my continuous arm I'm supposedly building in there too. So it's got two radiant heaters in there that are controlled by a thermostat. You could also use any other heat source, a light bulb. Those rolling heaters that are oil filled works really well. Whatever you can put in there. If you do put light bulbs down in there, make sure you put a metal shield in between them and the and your wood, or you could end up. I have it up here still. No, I've actually burnt all the way through one of these continuous arm bows back in there when it got too close to a light bulb once. It could burn down your shop if you're not careful. So you really want to have something to diffuse the heat and also to keep the parts off of the light bulbs if you're using light bulbs. These radiant heaters don't ever get very hot, so that's not an issue. And then I've got up top here, I've got holes in the top of the kiln for legs. And so I can just stick tenon just into that hole, which leaves about 2 inches of the tenon sticking down into the heated kiln, but leaves the rest of the thing air dry. And if you don't have something you want to put holes in, go back to the bench over here. What you can do is take aluminum foil, and you'll need to do this with your stretchers anyways, because you got tenons on both ends that you need to have exposed. Take aluminum foil and wrap the part in the aluminum foil or saran wrap or whatever you have, so that just the tenon exposed there in the kiln, and the rest of it is staying at whatever moisture content it was, more or less. Put it in. So our goal, again, is to have the mortises. We're going to put a stretcher in right there. So to have the mortises air dried, the tenons kiln dried. And that will have the 5/8 tenon swelling about 10,000ths of an inch, which is enough to lock it together, but not so much that it blows the joint apart.
Yeah, and so on the so with mine, I just use light bulbs. You can see it behind me. It's the chalkboard. That's my kiln. I got 200-watt light bulbs in there. I actually got 3, but I never have the third. I never have the third one on. And
you want to stand up and open it for us?
Yeah. Yep.
So, just to re-emphasize, you may want to make sure your kiln is not above 140 or much above 140, because heat does degrade wood. This bow that we bent was at 210, and so it's lost 10 to 20% of its strength from the heat of the steam box. But we accept that loss.
So there's my kiln. I guess I can even pull it up. I've never done this before, folks, so you can see I've got a camera in my hand. And so anyway, you can see I've got it on, and I've got Democratic chair parts in there because I'm making a few of them for an article I'm writing. And so that's it. And so really what we're going to be doing next with this chair is, did I get everything back? Yeah. What we're going to be doing next with this chair is we're going to be going to the seat, and the first thing we'll do on the seat is bore the holes for the post. And so our post tenons need to be dry, and the post needs to be stabilized, which means dry enough to where it's not going to change with you anymore, warp with you, move to one side or whatever. And so this is where I'll usually wrap aluminum foil around that post and throw it into the kiln, or at least wrap aluminum foil around up where the tenon's going to go. I mean, it's maybe a little overkill, but I think it's fine. And putting it in there, I dry the tenon. Then after I feel the tenon is super dried, and that would be below measurable moisture content, 5% or whatever, then I would form that tapered tenon with the draw knife, the cutter, or whatever it is I'm going to use, turn it sometimes, whatever it is I'm going to use. And then while it's still super dried, I don't let it sit around in the shop and gain moisture back. Then I'll taper the hole and fit the post to that mortise. And then the post can sit around the shop until I'm ready to assemble. And then before I'm ready, the day before I'm ready to assemble, I pop it back in the kiln, re-dry that tenon, and now we're ready to put the chair together. And the same thing can be said with the legs also, that we'll do them just like that. Elia, got anything to add to that?
No, that's perfect.